We're gonna start on this project. We're gonna put all these shocks in that I showed in the last video. These right here are the cab shocks. The other box has the other stuff in it. We haven't actually opened it, but the window is supposed to be in this week, and I started it, put it in calibration mode so it forced the cab up, and then you shut it off when it's all the way up. So it gives me some more room to work in here for now. So this is the hardest one to do. Behind the fuel tank, it's down there. There's still glass in there. So we gotta get this fuel tank off and go from there. He's moving the skid steer. I just pumped all the diesel fuel out. I filled that skid steer up because it was up here. We just cleaned up the whole shop, and I figured I put some of it in that till it's full. And then this is all that was left. Luckily, we did not fill the tank up before winter. So this is now drained. Everything here that holds it on is off. There's a bolt right there, and then I have to go underneath and take a panel off and separate the two tanks from each other. There's one on the other side. And then this one I should be able to slide out enough. Either I gotta take it all the way off or I can slide it out of the way. We'll see. Been working on this. We have the module under there all unhooked, it says, but now looking at the way I'm doing it, I didn't even do any of that crap because I disconnected this stuff. You have to pinch one of the antifreeze lines for thawing the def out. And then there's clamps down there. You gotta unscrew from the tank, which are stars. Normally you don't have this easy access into the cab, but it's really helping. And now we're gonna pull it off. The def tank is still full, but the diesel's empty, so it's still kind of heavy. And I do gotta disconnect the fuel line still from that before I break it. Working on this side, I have the toolbox off, the step off, the batteries off. I need to take that line off right there for the fuel. It just goes from tank to tank right there on top, so they can vent to each other. And then this one will be able to come off, and then I can get to this piston too. The other side I have as far apart as I can, and I have a jack already holding it, and I'll show you that in a minute. So this is my contraption on this side. I have the jack here with a rod. It's holding the pressure of the cab up. And then I was reading the manual. You gotta open this hydraulic line up that goes into that T-fitting right there. Then you put a plug on it, they send it to you. And now I can remove the dampener / piston behind this fuse thing. That whole unit. I'm doing this side first, so I know exactly what I'm doing, because this is like the easiest one to work on. The other ones I'm going to be crushed in behind the tires. And then I will show you the stuff. Our fuel tank right there. These are the shocks. 2 are front ones and 2 are back ones. I gotta read which ones are which. So I'm gonna show them my jack project, because I was too scared to just open this stuff up and then have the cab drop. So we have this jack. It's not very safe, but it is working. It wedges that 90 through there, fits right there, and it goes right up and it hits. So that's gonna give me this much room.
You can finish taking the glass out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of glass to take out. Vacuum cleaner and air blower. But that's gonna give me this much room to take that off, which I think is enough. It's gonna be tight. And the reason I'm not taking the fuel tank off is because you have to take the tire off.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not doing this. I'm just not. Okay. So we're gonna sacrifice wedging in there, and
Deal with it.
yeah, because that right there is probably where their extra 5 hours of work came.
Yeah, by the time you get tires, the weights.
Because it has 2 sets of weights in there. Maybe not 5 hours, but an extra hour or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just more work I don't want to do. So I'm going to show you taking this one off, because it's the easiest one out of all 4 for you guys to see. So I got the bottom nut off. Taking the top one off. I got the hose off. And I gotta unplug it. He was almost. I thought I was ready. Shit's falling down. We got the hose out. Look at that. That is a unit that we don't need.
It is what cost us.
That's complicated. It actually is.
You do have.
There.
Huh?
There we go.
Lights.
We have a light here.
So this little guy decided not to lift for me. Or for you. It didn't start for you.
Yeah. I have one side done. I went ahead and just did it. So this is what it looks like all done on there. It's all mounted. It's being fully hung by the spring and the shock spring mechanical setup. The electrical is zip tied out of the way. The hydraulic line is plugged. And now the crazy thing with this is you think when they make that, they'd make it so it just fits right onto the housing. No, I have to take a grinder and I have to grind this plate out that sits on the sits here. I had to grind it wider, and then I also had to grind the new shock skinnier, the steel pipelets on the inside, so that it would fit. Why it's not the right size, I don't know, but it literally says in the instructions to take a grinder out, so we did. There's crap everywhere. So this truck's getting some service stuff done before it goes on the shit tank. So now I have this one open. I'm hoping that this is enough. I have it out already. That I can get the grinder down there and I can grind out the inside right there to make it wider. And then on this one, I will shave down the steel pipe right here on both sides. And I mean, while doing that, it'll take out some of the rubber. It's not the end of the world, but I got to get this file down smaller. So I'm going to get the disc grinder in here and have a good time with that, but it does suck. Don't worry, I got Christoph watching.
Oh, I thought you were done.
No, I'm not done, but he's watching, so there's no fires. So you can see how I grinded this up. I don't know if it's perfect. It did say I had to grind the nubs down. Why it's just not the right fit is beyond me. But you know, I'm not a manufacturer or someone that fixes.
Just somebody that
Bitches and complains while fixing it with this stuff, but whatever. I got it grinded down. It's almost fitting snug in. You can, yep. But she's going down. Hard to tell. It's tight. But I did have that cardboard there so that I don't burn the tank. Even though it wouldn't be a problem, but you never know. Gave her a couple touch-ups. Now she fits right in, a little wiggle, and she's in. That's what we want. So now I'm gonna get the bushings that go in there at the bottom for the bolt, and then the top one will go on first, and then the bottom. Or, yeah, I guess yeah, if anyone wants to buy these 4 pistons, they will be for sale. So these are the 2 bushings and the bolts and nuts. The bushings are needed for the bottom. I was looking at it. I can do the bottom one first on this side. With moving the tank back just as much, gives you enough room. So these are the bushings. They just go in there. One on both sides. So I'll put that in now. I have nowhere to put the camera, so I'm just gonna do it. Got the bottom bolt in. It's not tightened yet. Got the top one. I literally just had to stick a wrench in there and give it a little leverage. It was not up enough, but it didn't take much. So we'll put the nut on. And this one will be good. I mean, I gotta zip tie that wiring harness out of the way for this side, but then it'll be good because I already put the plug on the hose. So we're working on the back of the tractor now. I'm on the back left. So I got this cover off right here. It's 4 10mm bolts. I got the bolts out for to hold the piston. This one's just barely on, so it doesn't fall off and pull on the hose and the cable. So because I didn't put this under our engine crane that's over there, which was really dumb of me, I've been having to use jacks. I showed you how I did in the front. I have a jack down there. Where is it? Right there. With a rod welded to that plate so it don't move. And then I stuck this 90 inside, and then the 90 don't fit on the cab support there, so I welded a 1 by 2 inch square stock tubing to it. It's welded on the other side, don't take much, so that it could cut over and lift the cab up. Now it's fully lifting on that. Yes, the cab mounts are a little rough, but I don't have them and I need this thing running, so we're gonna do them later. So we're gonna lift it out now. But this is ready to take the hoses off and the wiring, and then this one will come off too, which are right here. I was gonna pull the hose off up here, but then I won't have anywhere to zip tie the wiring harness after, so I'm gonna leave it here and disconnect that and put the plug in here. So I got this grinded out. I went more on the housing on this one because I could get in here easier with the grinder, and I did a lot less here. So I kind of just got the steel flat on the shocks this time. It's a lot harder on the front to get in there with a grinder, so I kind of did less on the housing. Was that the right thing? I don't know. Someone might say something, but it works. So this will all fit together now. I'm gonna put this, I'm putting the guard back on. Do I need to? No. But I might as well since it all fits. So we're gonna put these bolts in and be good. Got it all in. I got this zip tied up. Some people may take it off and put that somewhere else. I'm not. I'm gonna put the cover back on and bolt it up, and it'll be good. So I'm all done. All 4 shocks, they're all on. I just repeated the same thing I did on the other side with this side. So the shocks are on. Now the next thing I have to do is, well, I should finish putting that fuel tank back on, connecting all that, but I'm gonna go on the paper that it says and find where the brake or the cab valve bank stuff is, and I have to put a piece on that it sent with me. So we'll go find that. So I've gone through the trouble. It took me about 10, 15 minutes to find it. Maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes. But we were searching for the cab valve bank. I was looking everywheres. Ended up being back here, right straight in there, behind the fuel tank. Let me stick the camera in there. That's it. I already took the one hose off. I need to get all the, there's 4 Allen wrenches to take off. You see 2 right there, the one on the bottom, and then there's one just straight in underneath that solenoid. So I gotta get those 4 off, and it should come off. I might have to take one more line off. We'll see. I understand why they say take the fuel tank off, because if I didn't at least have it tilted, like I have it in the front, at least pulled out, it'd be covering it up. So that's helping. If this was the European model, I would have easily took the tire off and it would have been so much nicer, but it's a lot of work to pull those duals and the weights off, so we're doing it like this. So we're getting this apart. We got all the Allen wrenches off. I got all but one of the wire connectors off. You can see that one's giving me issues. The 2 hoses on top right there I had to take off on the inside. We got it moving. This line stays on, so technically that where I put the plug in here was kind of pointless because it gets disconnected right here, and I'm going to pull the whole hydraulic line off. So I could have just fully took it off, and then I'll figure out that. I'll zip tie it somewhere, I'm not too worried, but I have to take a vice grip and help pull on this because this fitting just, it did not work. The wire's fine, no, it don't matter, but we'll get that off. It says you're supposed to take the solenoids off too to get in there with the Allen wrenches. I just don't care to do the extra steps. So I got that fitting off for the hose. I got this coming out now. How to use a vice grip and a screwdriver. But I did get, here, I'll show you. She's coming out. It's tight. So this is the valve block I just pulled off. All this right here. You see there's 3 clean spots. That's where there's O-rings. I just went through and pulled the old ones off in there and put the new ones on. This is the piece that's gonna be replacing that. It has 2 ports. That's gonna let oil circulate in those 2 spots, and I guess the 3rd one can be shut off completely. That's how that works. So there's 3 solenoids on there. Maybe the solenoids were just bad and that's why I was doing it. No clue, but this thing's coming off. I'm gonna put this in. Oh my gosh, thing's skinny. You can see I cleaned it up. I put the new O-rings in. I think the O-rings was probably the hardest part about doing this without the fuel tank off, because I could barely reach in there and keep the O-ring on my fingertip. But they're on, they kind of fit right in there perfectly. And we're gonna put this block on. There's 4 bolts. It is a 6mm Allen wrench and a 5, if I'm right. I have them somewhere, but that's what they are. I think they have the one different to make sure you can only put it on one way. So, yeah. This is all done. I got this steel line zip tied out of the way. That way it holds that wires tight so they don't bounce around, because even though they're not getting used, I don't know what else that gets plumbed into with the harness. So I electrical taped off these plugs so they're good, and I put the caps in the lines. You can see right there, and then one here. So those are in. So this section's all done now. I take my light out, and now I can put the fuel tanks all back on, all those harnesses, and then I got to go in the cab, rip open the right side of the console and unplug the main computer for this, and then it'll be done. Now that I got everything out there done in the back, I'm gonna put the fuel tanks back together, and then I'll do the inside of the cab last. I don't want to rip the inside apart too right now, because you can see I have all the bolts for the outside in the cab. So under here, what I did was I took air and I put a wedge under there, and I just blew all the dirt out. You can see all the crap right here on the bottom. That's my first pile. So as I've been cleaning this, it's been getting nastier and nastier on the ground, and I keep having to move the pile because when I have to crawl under there, sometimes there's glass and the window blowing out. But cleaning that out will let the tank sit good again, because the second I move this, it would never sit good on the steel because there's always dirt. So she's good, and now we're gonna push this together. This side's all back together. All that's closed up. There's 2 bolts here that hold the def lines. There's 2 in the back. The cover, the steps, the 1 bolt back there. This is all good. You can walk back into the cab. So now I gotta do the other side. I got this fuel tank all back on. The batteries are in. There's power in the cab again. I even have the fuel line connected because Philip was just pumping the fuel back in. And I have, see, it's back in. And I have started on ripping inside the cab apart now. Because I need to get to the cab control module, which is underneath that. So now I gotta rip that off and take that out, and then it's officially done. So I had to move the power switch, it just unbolts, and then this unplugs pretty simply. That pulls to the side, push that back together, and she's good. There are some like locking clips right here. You might have to be careful for. I did break the top one, but there's one on the bottom too. So technically now should be good. Okay, we have all the power. I can't start it because I gotta bleed the system, but everything's good. Cab lights off, so I know it's the right one because that was on before I unplugged it, so we're good. So I got everything done in here. I found out I didn't need to take that panel off, which really pisses me off. You know, we found that out after we do it, but the instruction should not involve that. But I didn't know where the computer was exactly. So now we're just left to bleeding this. I cracked the screw right there, and because the fuel system from the filters to the engine is fine, it should be pretty easy. I don't know. My tractor has the electrical, the other 84, the 74
I think we're good.
has the electrical, but this thing doesn't. Why? I don't know.
Someone, I don't know. I thought it was a 13 model. After that, every one of them. But even our older ones.
Yeah, the 84s are 2005 and 7.
So,
Screwdriver.
not sure why it doesn't have it.
I don't know.
I would see if
It's kind of dumb that this tractor doesn't have the electronic.
because it's very handy.
Alright.
We never run them out of fuel, but
Oh, do we run them out of fuel sometimes? Oh, let's see. So yeah, cab suspension is Dunsky. Look, the cab doesn't move.
That's nice.
We're just struggling here. So yeah, she's done.
Oh, is this it?
Yeah, that's the computer I pulled out. If someone wants to buy that, they can. We'll sell all 4 things, all 5 things. The two pistons and this. 4 pistons and this.
And a control valve.
And that control valve. You can take it all. We don't want it. For sale.
Alright, turn it off.